How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa, this a new range, new page. Got me in a new country, new stage. I ain't signed no deal, I'm too paid. I do not have chill, I'm too crazy. I do not take L's, I'm too Brady. I might be frosted, I'm not flaky. Don't know what it cost me, it's all gravy. Turn on that faucet and just pay me. Whoa, we gon' get it, bring it back. Maybe Donald is a Mac. Couple bottles, empty glass. New machine, I'm sending facts. Bump the headline, check the facts. I'm not a gangster, but I'm a gorilla. Hop on them drums when I'm feeling J Dilla. Come get your lady, cause I'm a just stiller. How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. There's no comparison, black in America, little too arrogant. I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant. I shouldn't mention it, that's royal etiquette. Out of my element, way too intelligent. Grab you a therapist, send him my sentiments. Neck full of sediments, caught me a Tesla and skirt through the valley. Dropped an investment in Silicon Valley. All of this cake, but I'm missing the patty. Might mess around and just scoot to Miami. Drums are so loud that they break in the chassis. King of the grass like a Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them actors that labels as testing. How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. How about the range? Whoa.
Yo. What up, ya booch?
You already know this is about to be stupid. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa, this a new range, new page. Got me in a new country, new stage. I ain't signed no deal, I'm too paid. I do not have chill, I'm too crazy. I do not take L's, I'm too Brady. I might be frosted, I'm not flaky. Don't know what it cost me, it's all gravy. Turn on that faucet and just pay me. Whoa, we gon' get it, bring it back. Maybe Donald is a Mac. Couple bottles, empty glass. New machine, I'm sending facts. Bump the headline, check the facts. I'm not a gangster, but I'm a gorilla. Hop on them drums when I'm feeling J Dilla. Come get your lady, cause I'm a just stiller. How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range?
Yeah.
How about the range?
Yeah. Everybody, it's time to make some sick fucking games.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 testicles, testing, testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1093 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Coming to you live from the Swole Hole, live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Remember, you can catch the live stream on YouTube on my second channel, Daily Swole Podcast. Go check it out. Make some gains over there on the YouTube if you like to watch on the YouTube. If you don't like to watch on the YouTube, then don't watch on the YouTube. It's okay. It's all right. Also, brand new drop today on the main channel. Brand new YouTube video today. There'll be another one coming tomorrow. One that a lot of you have been waiting for quite some time. And I decided to make it after all. So I'll leave that up to you. Make sure you turn on your notifications. Hit the bell on YouTube. That way you can get notified when it goes live. And another brand new drop on the Swolenormous audio experience. So I got many things going in many places. And if you don't know about the second podcast, make sure you subscribe. Wherever you listen to this, you can find the Swolenormous audio experience, and you get a lot more little nuggets, a lot of nuggets, and I dropped some good nug today. So today is going to be more of a little bit more in depth. We're going to expand a little bit upon what I talked about on the audio experience earlier. So I dropped that a little while ago. So a lot of you probably haven't heard that yet. It's a few minutes long, but it talked about training frequency and volume. And I always talk about my testicles, Topher. So if you missed it, that's because you don't have your post notifications on, and you need to. If you're not hearing me say the intro, you're missing out. You're missing out. You missed the lobby. You missed the hangout. We were hanging out. We weren't really doing too much. We were hanging out though. We were hanging out. We were doing stuff. We were doing the things, all the things. Ooh, I got some hot coffee. My goodness. Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Delicious. De-fucking-licious. Let's see. I got a couple other pieces of news. For those of you that are part of Swolenormous X members, there is a brand new Swolga class, Total Gravity. So for those of you that have a little extra time this weekend, you have a brand new Swolga class in your Swolga section in X. So it's in your account already. So you can go check it out if you have not yet already. And I like to drop those things. I try to get it out there for the weekend, especially because a lot of you are doing recovery. You're not training as hard, or your schedule changes a little bit. So it's a perfect time to do it. Well, shit, kick me in the testes. Ooh, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. Hans Swolio, happy Star Wars Day. What does that mean? Oh, that's right. Is today the 5th or something? Oh, May the 4th. Oh, that's right. May the 4th be with you. Okay. Har, har, har. Happy Star Wars Day. Star Wars fucking sucks. Star Wars blows. Can we all agree on that? It fucking blows. They ruined it. It was good. The old ones were great. All the new ones that they made sucked. The new Disney ones suck. They all fucking blow. The first one they made was decent. They just fucking ruined it. Too many movies. Star Wars blows now. Fucking sucks. Don't even pretend like it's good. Blows. 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 It sucks. It sucks. Fuck that shit. Nah, you're just sending me off. You're just sending me off. I'm off the deep end now. Star Trek? Fucking Star Trek too. Fuck that shit. I didn't watch that either. Too much social justice. I know. She's just like this superhuman power strength just for no reason. She's awesome at everything. Yeah. Look, I have nothing against strong women or strong female characters, but everything's got to be woman. Everything's got to be female now, which just ruins storylines, because then you can tell when you're bending the story, if you were like arcing like on purpose, you can tell. It's just a little bit, it's too much. It's good if it fits the story. I'm fine with female characters. There's tons of great movies. I mean, there's no shortage of strong women, but when everything has to be redone, when it's biased, when you can tell that the script is being manipulated then it's like, all right, you're just changing the story. And it's not that people hate it because it's a woman. People hate it because they're manipulating the script rather than making it the best story possible. Yeah. The more I think about episode 3 of Game of Thrones, the more I fucking hate it. The more I don't like it. We'll see how the rest of it turns out, but they better fucking tie up some loose ends. I think it was too easy. I think it was too easy. I think it was too short. I think it was too soon. I think there was way too much build up. And they just fucking ended it. It's like, that better not be the end of the White Walkers and all that stuff. We'll see. Part of me thinks, hey, how about this? Part of me thinks maybe you think the Night King passed on anything to Arya. You think Arya's the Night Queen now? Ooh. Twist on twist. No, I think it was too much. I think it was too much too soon. I think it was just, they should have built it up more. I think they should have had the other battle first. I think this should be the big one. This should be the big fucking thing. 8 seasons of what the hell's going on. All of a sudden it's like, all right, it's over. I don't think so. I don't think it's over yet. It better not be. Otherwise, they're leaving a lot of unanswered questions that are going to piss people off. However, I think what's happening is they're going to create, like, right, they're creating a prequel series. So what are they going to answer all the questions there? They just want people to keep on watching and paying them money. It's like, fuck you. That's because George R.R. Martin hasn't written the books yet. So the writing sucks because he's better at it. So a lot of the that's why a lot of the characters in the last like 2 seasons have kind of sucked. Tyrion's another one. His characters sucked in the last 2 seasons because there's no more books to go off of. So they're trying to write it themselves and they suck. They didn't write the book. They didn't write the stuff. Yeah. Last 2 seasons were weak. Anyway, so let's get into some real shit. Let's talk about training frequency. Oh, I didn't even move this over on the live stream. Training frequency per body part. So how many times a week are you training body parts? What I talked about in the audio experience, and I'll just expand upon it here, and then you can ask questions if you want to. Another reminder that tomorrow is the Sunday Fun Day Q&A, so we'll go live and we will talk about whatever you want to talk about. So whatever comes up, I'll answer a ton of questions tomorrow. So just make sure that you bring them up and you turn on your post notifications so you're not missing out on anything. I don't want you missing the Sunday Funday Q&A. The big shit of the episode of that podcast that I posted on the Swolenormous audio experience, training frequency per body part is going to translate into how much volume and how intense your training is. So you've heard a lot of my content probably up to this point. If it's your first time listening to the podcast, and especially if it's your first time watching live, what up? You can drop in the comments below. But for those of you that are new to the content, I talk a lot about training for your goal and how a lot of people aren't training for their goal. They think they are. They're doing hard workouts. They're training until they're exhausted. They're training so they're sore. They train so they feel like they got a good workout. But training until you feel like you got a good workout doesn't mean you're going to get results. Doesn't mean it's going to end up the way you want it to. And what people really want, and let's be fucking honest, what people want is physique. I think it's good to train for some performance. I think it's great to train in multiple planes of motion. I think it's great to practice meditation. I think it's great to practice yoga. You're moving in different ways. You're moving the body. You're balancing out the joints. You're activating muscles. You're inhibiting overactive muscles. All those things are important. And you could also do other things like hiking. You can swim. You can do martial arts, whatever else you want. But I really do think the foundation should be weight training and mobility. Now, when it comes to the intensity of training, too many people aren't training hard enough, or they're not training frequently enough. So it depends on your training split. And a training split is how you are breaking up your workouts. So you can drop in the comments below what your current training split is. And what a training split means, what are you training on day one? Let's say you're doing a 7-day cycle. A lot of times, and oftentimes we discuss a training split based on 7 days, but it doesn't have to be 7 days. It's just how we're used to running calendars. So technically we just box everything up into 7 days. But when you think about it, it doesn't have to be on a 7-day cycle. It can be on a 9-day cycle. It could be on a 14-day cycle. It just comes down to, okay, in what given time period are you training X body parts, right? Are you doing chest on Monday, back on Tuesday? Are you doing upper body on Monday, lower body on Tuesday, and then resting? What are you doing on each day? What is your body part split? When you are training more frequently, this is usually, and when I say more frequently, it doesn't mean that you're training 6 days a week. It means frequently, or frequency means how frequently, how often in that week are you training a specific body part or a specific area of the body. For example, if you're doing upper body twice in the week, the frequency of training your upper body is twice. If you're doing lower body 3 times a week, that's 3. You're doing 3 sessions a week. And for all of us, we're all going to have a different level of recovery. We're going to have a different level of output. We all have different experiences and different skill sets. So when you are approaching your training split and you want to know, am I doing too much? Am I doing enough? That's going to depend on what your goal is. It's going to depend on what your experience is. It's going to depend on what time you have available to give to your training. Because if you will have lofty goals, but you're only able to train 3 times a week, period, you might have to adjust your goals because you have to be more realistic with the time that you have to spend for your training. And the more frequently you train a body part, the more recovery you need. If you're doing 3 total body workouts a week and that's the only resistance training you do, The reason why that can be done 3 days a week is that you're not doing a ton of volume for any specific body part. You're probably doing macro compound movements like bench press or deadlift and squats or pull-ups, things like that. So you're working multiple muscles and you're not going quite to failure. You're not going isolation in a big way. You're just doing the total body. So you can train that 3 days a week and you're not doing a ton of volume on any given area. You might be doing 3 to 6 sets of squats. You might be doing a couple exercises for pushing. You might be doing a couple exercises for pulling, and then you're done for the day. So you could do that 3 times a week because the volume, the overall volume on your body is not as much. When you start increasing the frequency and the volume, that's when people overtrain. That's when people overtrain is very similar. I think it's better to say under recovery. And I've mentioned this many times. If you are not recovering properly, it's all relative. If you're recovering properly and you're giving your body enough time, you're putting in enough effort to heal between workouts, whatever your split is, you can do 6 training sessions a week. But obviously you're not doing 6 total body training sessions a week. You're not doing 6 total body because then you're not recovering enough between each workout. You're just going and doing 2 sets and leaving. So it depends on what your split is, the frequency and the overload, but are you recovering enough from workout to workout? That's really the most important aspect of it. And when people discuss, most commonly, when people openly discuss their workouts, there's too much discussion about the exercises, right? What the exercise selection. And there's too much talk about what you're doing in the gym. What about what you're doing outside the gym? What about the yoga, the foam rolling, the meditation, the sauna, the massage, whatever it is? What are you doing outside the gym to recover for that next session? And if you're recovering properly and you're recovering enough, then you can slowly increase the volume. And that depends on, of course, your training split. And there are many different kinds. So I'm not going to go into all the different training splits. And on the board behind me, 1 day a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, the more frequently you train, the broader scope you're going to be approaching in terms of frequency. If you're training body parts, the same body part 3 times a week, you're biasing either you're training towards a specific area of the body or you're doing more general type training like total body training. So if you're doing, let's just say push-pull legs, you're doing push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, and then that's 6 days of training a week. That's a lot. And what people tend to do is they do frequent training. They'll do each body part twice a week, but then they start to increase the volume. And a lot of times that doesn't match up. People try to do more and keep on doing more and keep on doing more. But more doesn't make you better. More, when it comes to training, continuing to overload your body too much can lead towards overtraining and problems. And if you train too hard, it doesn't mean that's bad. Training to failure or pushing yourself really, really hard is okay, but you might have to back off the frequency. So if you're crushing, and I'm saying if you're crushing your chest and back on Monday, you might not be ready to go on Thursday or Friday. You might need some extra time. So maybe once a week because of the overload that you're putting on your chest and back. That's not always recommended. Some people might like that. It depends on your ability to make it to the gym. It depends on your experience. It depends on what your goals are. There are a lot of different aspects on how you can juggle that, because if you only have 4 days a week to train, you don't have the option necessarily of doing chest and back with the amount of volume that you want, maybe in 2 workouts a week. If you only have 4 days to make it to the gym, you're like, all right, well, I'm just going to do more volume and I'll do it one day and I'll just do a lot more volume on that one day. And you create that period of recovery for the rest of the week. So 1 day a week does work. It does work. I'm proof of that. Like I've done it. I've done that. I've done many different types of splits. It does work, but you need to provide yourself with enough overload that will stimulate growth. In other words, the more intensity and the more to failure, the more volume you do on that Monday, for example, the more days you'll need for recovery. But if you're getting crippled sore, it's going to affect the movement of your other body parts. If you're doing chest and back and you're beating yourself up, that's going to affect you for a leg workout, because if your back is super sore and your lats are sore and you crushed it, it's going to be really hard to provide a lot of core integrity when you're doing squats or deadlifts or something, and that can affect you. That could put you at risk. So I tend to lean towards more frequency and not quite going to absolute failure, not quite crushing yourself with volume. I spent a lot of years crushing volume. I spent a lot of years doing a ton of overload, but it's very debilitating. And this is something that as you get more experience with your training, you learn your body and you get onto your routine. And as you get older, it takes you longer to recover. So as you get older and as you have more experience and as your body has been under more stress for more years and has more exposure to that kind of stress, there is, I think, a little bit of a shift towards more frequency to stay consistent, but less volume in each workout. In other words, hitting it hard, but not going to that overloading volume and to that overloading failure point. Just to go in there, crush it. In other words, short and sweet and focused rather than, okay, I'm just going to do it once a week and just put myself into the ground, because I feel like there's too much of a side effect and too much of a ripple effect affecting your posture and your ability to execute other workouts. And that you might find otherwise, but that's my experience. If your back is super fucking sore, it's going to affect you for squats. It's going to affect you for other movements. It's going to stiffen you up if you're not recovering enough. So it really comes down to that balance. Are you recovering enough between your sessions? Are you doing enough to recover? Are you doing enough to repair? Or are you just smashing yourself until you're just broken? And that's where a lot of people end up. A lot of people end up chasing soreness. You chase soreness. You're not happy unless you feel crippled. You're not happy unless you have a hard time sitting down the toilet. And I understand that mentality. I do. I understand what you're going through, that you're looking for that short-term response. You're looking for that in the moment, I feel like I crushed it today. And that's all well and good. But that shouldn't be the judge and jury for whether or not you're going to see progress long term. Because if you always feel like you crushed it and you destroyed yourself and you're trying to slowly and you're increasing the frequency, now I'm going to try doing everything twice a week, you're not going to be able to get that same feeling. And this is where people tend to overtrain. They start to train more frequently. However, they forget to disconnect from how they feel in the moment. And they don't look at their training program as analytically as they should. And let me try to explain that and flesh that out a little bit, because I think that might be confusing. A lot of people like that feeling. I got a great workout today. Man, they leave and they're just fucking blasted. Fine. However, if you're increasing the frequency of that training, you can't be hunting for that level of intensity and that level of breakdown, because now you're doing it more often. So you're going to have to back off. And for a lot of people, leaving the gym feeling satisfied, I got a great workout, but kind of being below that point of destruction, people feel like they're not getting their workout in. People feel like, relative to what they've done in the past, that they're not doing enough work. So they tend to bias their training towards more frequently, more of this. Oh, I'm going to go twice a day. And people get addicted, right? It's like anything else. If you are drinking alcohol, eventually your body adapts, and then you need to drink more alcohol to get the same buzz. So then you keep on drinking. And then if you're drinking a lot, all of a sudden it takes 6 beers to get a buzz, and then it takes 10 beers. And then, of course, you can go down that path, unfortunately. So it takes more to get that same kind of, quote, high. Yeah. Same thing with training. You get used to the level of output. You get used to what you're doing. You get used to a hard workout. So then all of a sudden that hard workout that really destroys your fucking body for like 5 days, that becomes your new normal. And your body gets used to that kind of feeling. I mean, you're still sore, but your body gets used to that kind of, that expectation. And then all your training, you have this expectation, wow, I didn't get a good workout because I don't feel crippled today. But you have to temper that, because that's trauma for your body. And if you're not giving yourself enough time to recover, that's going to cost you gains. And remember, I said this, I believe, yesterday, I say it a lot, you're recovering and you're building outside the gym, not when you're inside the gym. You're making your gains outside the gym, not when you are in the gym breaking things down. You want to get in, provide your body with the overload, then get the fuck out, rest, eat, massage, do everything to recover for your next workout session. It's about the recovery. And I'm telling you, and this is what we do inside Swolenormous X. Those of you that are X members, big on the yoga, big on the mobility, big on the recovery. But that's going to help keep you healthy long term. I have had maybe a few injuries or setbacks in the gym. I have never had major, because I'm careful with my form. I'm proactive. with my programming. I'm aware and I bias everything towards recovery. I stopped before. Now I'm stopping before. And today I felt great and I could have done more. Look, you can always do more. This is something that you really have to sit back and, okay, look at everything. You can always do more. You can always do another set. You're exhausted at the end of your workout. Well, if you wait 5 minutes, you'll recover a little bit. And then of course you could do more. You can always do another. You're never going to be like leaving in a body bag. You can always do more. Does that mean you should do more? No, it doesn't mean you should do more. And that's the discrepancy. That's the difference. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can do another set, it's just beating a dead horse after a while. And I'm telling you, once you kind of stop, and what I'm doing now is because I tend to fucking cry. I can override my brain. I can override my brain and be like, fuck you, more. And I can beat myself up. I can personal train myself. I can push myself. I can really kind of step outside my own body and push myself further than I would, push myself, if that makes sense. So I can do that. But now whenever I feel like, okay, I want to do another set towards the end of my workout, a lot of times I say, nope, I'm done. I'm consciously aware that what I'm gravitating towards is probably too much. It's more than I need. So I'm stopping before I feel like I'm ready to stop because my standards are usually a lot more than what most people would do. So I'm aware of that. So I'm cutting myself short. I'm kind of capping myself. I'm leaving when I feel good. Like I do what I need to do. I lift my heavy weights. I get my good pump and I do my supersets and I hit the areas I want to hit and then I get out. And I like training things a little bit more frequently now because I'll get a little bit of a more angles during the week. And I like to be consistent. I don't want to go to the gym 3 days a week or 4 days a week and have 3 days where I'm not training. I like to go. I like to keep that flow. I like to keep that engine, that meter running. But if I'm going more often, I need to segment things more. If I go more often, I need to adjust the volume. I need to just adjust the intensity. Since the frequency is up, I need to temper how much I'm doing in each workout. I need to temper how much I'm crushing myself because you can't have both. You can't be increasing the frequency and increasing the volume and increasing the intensity. You're going to hurt yourself and you're going to burn out real fucking quick. And you can't be hunting for that same type of feeling if you're training more often in the week. And that's where people fall off. They look for that once a week. Oh, I crushed a workout. That's not the standard. That's not the requirement to get results. If you're always chasing that, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be hurt. You're going to be banged up. You're not going to be recovering enough. And that's what I wanted to get across in a little bit more depth. So I talked about that in the audio experience today, but obviously I just dropped that knowledge cog across your cheek, slap, and hopefully that gives you a little bit more context. And we keep on talking about these things because that's where scheduling can get a little bit hectic. People get confused. Oh, I thought twice a week. Oh, I should only do 3 days a week, or total body. Well, I read that here you can only train this much if you're a natural lifter. And there are a lot of different ways. There really are a lot of different ways to get results. There's so many different splits. And it really depends on what you're available to do. How many days a week can you make it to the gym? Can you go? If you can go 7 days a week and you have the option, it still doesn't mean you should do it 7 days a week, but you have more options to play with. If you don't have as much time for each day, like I can go every day, but I can only go for half an hour. Well, that sounds perfect for someone to do more frequency because, hey, you can only get so much volume done because you have limited time. So do it twice a week. That's great. If you only have 3 or 4 days a week, but you can go for 2 hours, not that you should be lifting for 2 hours straight, but you get my point. You have more time to create more volume, and that could be a whole different option. Maybe do upper, lower. You have more time. You do more overload, more volume. You have more time to spend, and that might work out better for you. And both people can get great results. It just depends on adjusting that intensity, adjusting that volume based on the frequency in which you are hitting those body parts. Thank you. I think that's where newbies at the gym get discouraged. Everyone gets discouraged at some point. I get discouraged. Everyone gets discouraged. I'm no different than any of you. I get discouraged. I have high points. I have low points. I feel good. I feel like shit. I look in the mirror and I feel like, I look like fucking shit. I have days when I look in the mirror, I'm like, I'm fucking ripped. I feel pumped. 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, man, I feel tight. Then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I feel fucking flat. I go through the same shit. I just don't let it affect me like a lot of people lets it affect them. I mean, I still go through it, but I just have perspective on it. That's where meditation helps. That's where perspective and experience helps, because I know I'm going to go through those ups and downs. That's why I don't weigh myself, because I know that fluctuates. I don't give a fuck. I mean, my experience has led me towards what things are going to be the most important things to focus on. And that's what I'm passing along here with the Daily Swole. That's what we do in Swolenormous X. What are the most important things to focus on that most people will see the most benefits from? What are the most important things to focus on? What's the most important thing? I think it's food quality, not counting and all that shit. I think food quality is the most important thing fundamentally, no matter what. Restricting calories, eating excess, you should be eating the right fucking foods. So I think that's most important. So we focus on that. I think mobility and proper progression with training is most important. So we start with that. We do mobility. We do a lot of yoga. We do a lot of mobility work. You're going to cross a lot of T's and dot a lot of I's by focusing on food quality and proper training and working in different planes of motion, working on stabilization, working on corrective exercise, working on yoga. I mean, you're going to solve so many problems and avoid so many issues later on in life if you approach training the way we approach it here and in Swolenormous X. That's just what I'm sharing with all of you. That's my experience. And I'm very happy with how my career has turned out, because I've mitigated any kind of major issues because of my attention to form and mobility and rest and recovery. And I'm fortunate to have found yoga as early as I did and to embrace it and to really go deep with it. I mean, everyone's going to be a little bit different. Everyone's going to have different interests, but it's important to always adjust your frequency, your volume, and your intensity based on, what your goals are and if you're recovering enough. Gym and fitness is for everyone. I agree. Well, thanks, Edgar, on Instagram. Appreciate it. I work out 2 days a week at high intensity because of time. Okay. I mean, and that's going to affect result. I mean, if you're only training twice a week, then that's very, very limited in terms of your ability to provide overload and to, everyone has their own limitations. So that's when it's also important to temper your expectations. Like, what do you expect to happen? What kind of work are you putting in, and what will that actually logically lead to? Because if you're only doing once or twice a week, then you're not going to be seeing ridiculously amazing results. There's going to be a limitation just because of the overall volume and the overall limitations of the output. But everyone's different. Depends on what your goals are. Depends on what else you're doing. So like I mentioned, it's about the recovery too. I mean, it's really about the recovery. If you're recovering properly, some people recover faster. Just make sure you adjust and make sure you're listening to your body, and don't just go by, I don't feel in the moment. I didn't feel like I crushed it today. You don't have to feel wiped out and like be peeling yourself off the fucking ground to have had an awesome workout. So that's that. For everyone that's in Swolenormous X, remember to check out the brand new Swolga Gravity video. You got that going. And brand new YouTube video dropped earlier today. Another one coming tomorrow. So I'm going to be editing. I got some more stuff dropping. Big shit. Oh, tomorrow, Sunday Funday Q&A-ness. Make sure you're here. Make sure you turn on post notifications and we'll talk. I will answer all your questions. So it's all for you. You will be asking questions. You will be asking questions, submitting questions tomorrow. So if you have any questions that you asked today that didn't get answered, stay here tomorrow and drop them tomorrow, because I will be going over anything that you want to talk about mañana in episode 1094. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for episode 1093 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. I just got one more question popped up. I'll take John's and then we'll bounce. Hating isolated body part training. I've been doing mostly compound movements for a while. I know accessory work is important. That depends on what your goal is. I've been neglecting my arms and calves, which is okay with me, but my wife sees a difference in my arm volume and she misses it. Any recommendations? Train your fucking arms more. What kind of a question is that? I've been neglecting my arms and she misses your bigger arms. So train your arms again. Don't skip your arms. What? Is that a question? Are you tricking me? Is this candid? Is this candid camera? Are you punking old Papa Swolio? You punkin' papa? You punkin' papa? Go train your arms. Simple answer. Don't complicate shit. I'll see you tomorrow for episode 1094 for the Sunday Funday Q and Hanus. Peace, McGee's, Deuce Magoose, your boy Papa Swolio. Out.